I'm delighted to be here today and to have the opportunity to share my thoughts on a very important topic: how India can accelerate its growth through encouraging greater economic participation by women. An impressive 133 million Indians rose out of poverty between 1994 and 2012, an achievement that India and the world can be proud of. While worthy of celebration, the success could have been even more dramatic if a greater number of women could have contributed to the workforce. In 2012, only 27% of adult Indian women had a job or were actively looking for one, compared to 79% of men. In fact, 20 million women had dropped out of the workforce between 2005 and 2012. This is equivalent to the entire population of a country like Sri Lanka. Worryingly, India's rapid urbanization has not yet encouraged more women to join the labor force. Rural jobs have been decreasing and not enough rural women have been able to make the transition to working in urban areas. This makes the need for greater public safety and safe transport more significant. By any measure, the gap is particularly large and has been widening. India ranks 120 among 131 countries in female labor participation, and rates of gender based violence remain unacceptably high. It's hard to develop an inclusive and sustainable way when half of the population is not fully participating in the economy. At 17% of the GDP, the economic contribution of women is less than half of the global average and compares unfavorably to the 40% in China, for instance. India could boost its growth by 1.5 percentage points to 9% per year if around 50% of women could join the workforce. The country could add up to 770 billion of GDP, that is equivalent to more than 18% to its GDP by 2025, simply by giving equal opportunities to women. This is according to an report by McKinsey Global Institute. This is not to say that India has not done some good success. Some young women are staying in school longer and others are choosing to leave work as circumstances change and incomes rise. But India must turn the tide to realize that this economic development potential. What will it take to reverse this trend and embark on the next chapter of India's success story? Valuing girls and women is critical factor in making societies more prosperous in my and shows and women's economic empowerment is highly connected with poverty reduction, as women also tend to invest more of their earnings in their children and communities. In the era of globalization, the role of Indian women at home and work has taken a multifaceted dimension. India being one of the fastest growing economies, the contribution of women is growing at a steady pace. Most Indian women by and large undertake productive work only under economic compulsion. Most of the women are found to be employed in agricultural activities and in the unorganized sector. The employment of women is high in certain work such as part-time helpers in households, construction centers, tanneries, matchbox making, etc. A central driver of economic growth over the past century has been the increased role of women. This empowerment comes in many forms: increased female labor force participation, reducing discrimination and wage differentials that encourage greater effort, and improved advancement practices that promote talented women into leadership and managerial roles. Empowerment of women needs to begin with her participation in different spheres of life. Education is a great determinant in this regard. To achieve empowerment, women would have to be educated to be aware of their rights and privileges in a modern society. It is education which can bring about awareness in them related to their social status, injustice, and differentiation meted out to them. Besides, economic independence is a major factor which can contribute in empowering women. Despite their immensely important role in economic development of the country, women are facing some severe problems in our economy, some of them being malnutrition and lack of recognition. Much of the work done by women is not put in black and white in the official statistics. It is truly unjustified to ignore the large share of contribution made by women, as a large women are employed in several sectors such as laborers, domestic workers and small traders. Women play a substantial role in the Indian economy, and their contribution must be recognized with full appreciation. Women must be empowered and facilitated so that their productivity may be increased. The most important determining factor is primarily evolves out of poor literacy and lack of awareness, resulting in some exclusion from the mainstream opportunities.